Good morning, everyone. How are you all? I hope everyone is happy. God bless you and your family. In the previous section, we saw about the changes around us. What is changes? Changes is the law of nature. In our day-to-day life, we see many changes around us. Weather changes periodically, season changes periodically. A paper burns readily while it takes a few days for an iron nail to rust. Next one, classification of changes. There are different types of class changes observed in nature that occurs around us. We shall now to try to classify changes on the basis of certain similarity and differences. First one, slow and fast changes. Second one, reversible and irreversible changes. Third one, physical and chemical changes. Fourth one, desirable and undesirable changes. Fifth one, natural and man-made changes. Now we will going to discuss about slow and fast changes. Slow changes. Changes which take place over a long period of time. Hour, days, month, years are known as slow changes. For example, growth of nail and hair, changes of season, germination of seed. Second one, fast changes. Changes which take place within a short period of time. Seconds or minute are known as fast changes. For example, bursting of balloon, breaking of glass, bursting of firecrackers, burning of paper. Next one, reversible and irreversible changes. Reversible changes which can be reversed to get back the original state. For example, touch me not plant, responding to touch, stretching of rubber band, melting of ice. Irreversible changes. Irreversible changes which cannot be reversed or to get back the original state are known as irreversible changes. For example, changes of milk into curd, digestion of food, making idli from batter. Next one, physical and chemical changes. Physical changes are the temporary changes in which there is the change in the physical appearance of the substances but not its chemical composition. Physical changes, here no new substance is formed. For example, melting of ice. Ice change into water. Again, water change into ice. Here no new substance is formed. The solution of salt or sugar, stretching of rubber band. Next one, chemical changes. Chemical changes are the permanent change in which there is change in the chemical composition and a new substance is formed. For example, burning of paper. Next one, desirable and undesirable changes. Desirable, the changes which are useful, not harmful to our environment and desired by us are known as desirable changes. For example, ripening of fruits, growth of plant, cooking of food, milk change into curd. Undesirable changes. The changes which are harmful to our environment and not desired by us are known as undesirable changes. For example, deforestation, cutting of tree, decaying of fruits, rusting of iron, spoilage of fruits, rusting of iron also causes some problem. Next one, natural changes. Changes which take place in natural on their own and behind the control of human being are known as natural changes. For example, rotation of earth, changing phases of the moon and rain. Next one, human made or artificial changes. The changes which are brought about by human being are known as human made or artificial changes. They will not happen on their own. For example, cooking, deforestation, cultivating of crops, construction of buildings. I welcome everyone back to my class. Today we are going to discuss about a new lesson. Right now, take a large deep breath. Inhale, exhale. Do it again. Inhale, exhale. Let's think about what exactly is happening in your body that is allowing you to breathe. Well, when you inhale or breathe in, your lungs fill up with the oxygen that is passed to your bloodstream. Aside from your lungs, what you need in order to breathe? Air, of course. Today we are going to discuss about air. Air is the gas that provide us with oxygen. But oxygen isn't the only element in air. In fact, only about 21 percentage of air in oxygen, while about 78 percentage it's nitrogen and less than 1 percentage it's a mixture of other gas. Without air, living things would be unable to survive, including plants, animals, and human beings. Property of air. Just because you cannot see something, yes or no, doesn't doesn't mean that isn't there. Yes, air cannot be seen, smelled, or tasted, even though the air is invisible. Invisible means we cannot see our naked eye. It actually take up space and has weight. Have you ever blown up a balloon before? Think about it. At first the balloon is a small, flat and deflated. However, when you blow air into the balloon, it grows in size and is heavier than it was before you blew it up. Next, to move on, atmosphere. The Earth atmosphere is the mix of gases that surround the planet. The Earth atmosphere contains many layers. The part of the atmosphere that contain all the cloud, the weather, bird and aeroplane. It's actually only a thin layer when compared to the full size of Earth. The radius of the Earth approach 4,000 miles, but even our best plane can only go as high as 10 miles. Layer of the atmosphere. When you go from the surface of the earth and work your way up, the air pressure gradually decreases. It isn't a certain things. There is no point where space official start. So if it is gradual, how can the earth atmosphere have layers? When you go up a mountain, it gets colder. The higher you are above the earth surface, the colder it is. But this is not true for the whole of the earth atmosphere. There are parts where the temperature stay constant and other parts where it even increase as you go up. This change in what happened to temperature are a big part of how we distinguish between the layer of the earth atmosphere. The Earth atmosphere has five main layers listed from the bottom to the top. There are the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. First one, troposphere, is the area that goes from the surface of the Earth to a height from 7.5 miles. This contains most of the clouds, weather, aeroplane, and air current in the Earth atmosphere. Second one, stratosphere. Stratosphere just above the troposphere, it goes from 7.5 miles up to around 31 to 34 miles above the Earth's surface. Here, you find a few unusual high cloud called nacreous cloud, the ozone layer and even a few aircraft. Third one, the mesosphere. The mesosphere is above the stratosphere and reach from around 31 to 34 miles above the ground up to 50 to 53 miles. Temperatures start to drop again and it quickly becomes so cold that the tiny amount of water vapor found there can sublimate straight into cloud. Third one, thermosphere, is the next and goes from 50 to 53 mile up until 310 to 620 miles. The size of the thermosphere depends on how active the sun is at any given time. Temperature here increase it again, but it's not a very reliable way of measuring anything. There are so few molecules up here that the fact they are moving faster doesn't really tell you much. Last one, exosphere is the top layer of the atmosphere. It goes from 440 miles to 6,200 miles above the earth. This is where most satellites orbit the earth, though only in the lower parts. You could argue that this is part of the earth atmosphere. It's hardly atmosphere at all. There are very few molecules here, and they are only loosely bound to the earth. Now we are going to discuss about experimental verification of oxygen, carbon dioxide and nitrogen in air. Joseph Priestley conducted an experiment to determine the importance of the air for the growth of green plants. He conducted a series of experiments in which he placed a burning candle and a mouse in a bell jar, such that no air could leave or enter the jar. He observed that is, in the set, the mouse died of suffocation. In the next set, he placed a mint plant along with the mouse and burning candle in the jar. Here, the mouse did not suffocate and lived, and the candle kept on burning. Based on the state of the experiment, sets of experiment, Priestley conducted that the animal which breathed air or a burning candle damage the air in some way. Green plant restore to the air whatever the burning candle or breathing animals remove. Now move on. Oxygen is formed during photosynthesis. Aim to prove that oxygen is evolved during photosynthesis. Apparatus, beaker, funnel, test tube, water, hydrola plant. Procedure: take a few pieces of hydrola plant. Keep a wide-mouthed funnel into a beaker with water. Place the hydrola piece of inside the funnel. Carefully invert a test tube filled with water over the narrow end of the funnel. Keep the entire apparatus in sunlight for 2 to 3 hours. Observation: after some time, you will observe small gas bubbles coming out of the leaves of hydrilla. These bubbles collect at the end of the test tube. Collect more gas and then take out of the test tube by the closing its mouth with the thumb. Test the gas by introducing glowing splinter. The splinter glows and burns more vigorously. Conclusion: from the above experiment, it is clear the oxygen is evolved during photosynthesis. Now move on. Composition of air. Take a gulp of fresh air. Feels good, doesn't it? We all breathe gallons of air every day. We hope the air is mainly clean and fresh, but it's not always the cause, and air can become polluted. But before we look at pollution, let us first look at the different gases that make up air. Air is a mixture of gases. This means two or more pure substances hang out together in variable amount but do not chemically combine together. There are two main gases in air: nitrogen and oxygen. Nitrogen. Nitrogen is the largest component in air at about 79%. Nitrogen is colorless and odorless. It does not react much in our body, and so we breathe pretty much all of it back out. Second one, oxygen. Oxygen is the second main gas in air at around 20%. It's vital for our survival. Oxygen is absorbed into our blood through our lungs and it allows respiration to occur. Respiration is the process of producing energy in living organism. Oxygen it's needed to react with the food we eat to release the energy we need. Carbon dioxide is the main product of respiration and we breathe this out. The final 1% of air it's made up of other gas argon is the third main gas in the air. At about 0.9 percentage, carbon dioxide is also present in the tiny amount. Dust. Dust it's made up of fine particles of solid matter. When you might have seen the sunlight entering into a dark room through a narrow slit and making shiny dust particles dancing madly on the path of sunlight. Actually, the air in a room always contains some dust particles, but they are so small that normally they cannot visible to us. When a beam of sunlight fall on them, the tiny dust particle become visible. Now move on. Test for water vapor and burning and combustion. Test for water vapor. Take a few ice cubes in a glass. Keep it on the table for a few minutes. Observe what happens. You could see tiny droplets of the water all over the outer surface of the glass. From where do these droplets come? The water vapor present in the air condenses on the cold surface of the glass. This is show that air contains water vapor. The next one, burning and combustion. When we burn a candle, paper, kerosene, coal, wood or cooking gas, oxygen is needed. The oxygen needed for burning of candle, paper, kerosene, coal, wood and cooking gas comes from the air around us. This for burning substance continuously so as to make fire. As continuous supply of fresh air is needed. If we cut off the supply of fresh air to burning substances, then the burning substances will not get oxygen necessarily for burning to continue and hence the substance will stop burning. Now move on. Oxygen necessary for burning. Take a candle and fix it in table. The candle is lighted. The candle will continue to burn due to the continuously available fresh air providing the required oxygen for combustion. Now cover the burning candle by putting on inverted gas jar over it. After a short time, the candle stops burning and gets extinguished. When the burning candle is covered with a gas jar, then the candle take away the oxygen necessary for burning from the air enclosed in the gas jar. After some time, when all the oxygen of air inside the gas jar is used up, then the burning candle gets extinguished. This proves that air is necessary for combustion of substances. Respiration in plants. Plants exchange gases with the atmosphere through the stomata, which are present mostly on their leaves. They also exchange gases through the pore on their stem, root, tubers, and fruits. The spores called lentils are clearly visible on the apple, pears, and potato. As in the case of animals, plants need oxygen to break down food for the release of energy. The process is known as respiration. The next one, photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, phot means light in Greek and synthesize come from the Greek word that means putting together. Photosynthesis means is the process by which green plant make food using carbon dioxide, water in the presence of the sunlight. The chlorophyll present in the leaves help the plant draw energy from sunlight. Now move on. Respiration in animals. When an animal breathes, it takes in oxygen gas and release carbon dioxide gas into the atmosphere. This carbon dioxide is a waste product produced by the animal cells during cellular respiration. Cellular respiration occurs in the individual cells. Cells use oxygen to burn food for energy. Why do animals respire? All animals respire during normal human respiration. A glucose react with oxygen to produce energy. The energy is needed for growth, repair, and movement. Water and carbon dioxide are byproduct of respiration. They need to be excreted. Now move on. Uses of air. Important uses of air. Air is a natural resources and is available abundantly. When we talk about the uses of air, the first thing that we can state that it's not the most important element that supports the vitality and well-being of all living things on the earth. Having said that, just like water, the air is a very useful and it has a lot of application. First one, sustain life and growth. Sustain life and growth means air consists of one of the main life sustaining gas called oxygen. Almost all living things breathe in and breathe out is air. Nitrogen and carbon dioxide also other gas that are vital for plant and their growth. And second one, combustion. Yep. Apart from this, air support burning or combustion. The oxygen present in the air help in burning of the fuels to basically carry out activity like cooking food or running industrial and vehicle as well as generating heat and electricity. And third one, temperature control. Another important aspect of air is that is help in maintaining the temperature on the Earth surface by circulating hot and cool air. Next one, supply of energy. Air which consists of energy is one of the main supplied of energy. Living things are made up of cells and the cells extracted oxygen with the blood to produce energy usually in the form of ATP. Next one, photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide, which a component of air, it's used by plant during the process of photosynthesis. Here, oxygen also released by plants, and we already know how vital is oxygen. Today's science assignment: answer the following. Learn all the question answers. Thank you.